Okay, so you know enough bar chords now to do a lot of songs. It's just a matter of practicing them, getting used to switching back and forth to them, and your muscle memory to kick in so you don't have to think. But I mean, where would I use this? Well, I see a bad moon rising. That's the first bar chord pattern we learned, the second bar chord pattern we learned, and the same bar chord pattern, just 2 frets down. So we have G, D, C. We could play it here. We could use open chords. But what if we get a singer and she says, oh, I want to sing it higher? When you have to immediately, one way bar chords are useful is in transposing. So she said, oh, I really like that key. And you're like, well, it looks like a B flat to me, and I don't know B flat. There's no way to play an open B flat chord just because of how the guitar is tuned. So you have to use bar chords. But that's easy because you know basically the pattern of the chords is one of these here, go up 2 frets, do this pattern, do the same pattern 2 frets down. So if I go up, start here instead, you've automatically transposed it very quickly just by using bar chord patterns in the same configuration, so to speak. If you wanted to lower it, say to F, again, very easy. Every move you make. I'll be watching you with every move you make. I don't know if you know that song or not, but it's by the Police. It was like 80s. I'm using a partial E of this second pattern that I just showed you. It's an E because I'm up on the 7th fret, and I know in this pattern the second string defines what letter name it is. So A, B, C, D, E, which is the same note as the E string, just an octave higher. You may not know all that, but just take my word for it. This is an E note, so therefore in this pattern this is an E major chord. And I think I showed you the every move you make as an example of a 1, 6, 4, 5 pattern. And again, you don't have to know all the numbers, but what it means in the key of E is it's an E to a C sharp minor to an A to a B back to an E. That's a very common pattern. It doesn't even matter what key it is. It's very common. You'll see it a lot. But I kind of play off. I'm doing a chunky here thing. Every move you make, every bow you break. Now, if I had to play a C sharp minor, there's really no good place anywhere to play the open version of that. Like, you know, there's just no way to play that aside from a bar chord. So fortunately, we know this pattern is a major, and if I go down and take and lower this note to there, I have a minor. This note is the C sharp, so that's a C sharp minor, which is the second chord in this progression. And then the next one, the 4 chord, is A. So I'm going to go ahead and do an open A since I'm down here. I'll do an A2 actually and leave the B string open. And then a B, there's my bar chord again. So I'm using the same second pattern that I showed you, which is the E or the A pattern in the cage system. I'm using that like 3 times. I'm using it here. I'm using it here with a minor, dropping this down. I'm using it here, well, I'm actually using it 4 times, but that's not a bar chord, that's just a straight open chord. And then to the B. Now, in this instance, I'm playing the low E string since it's an E and I'm playing an E chord, so I get that nice low hum, and I can chunk off it kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm really only hitting like 3 strings, especially when you're playing your electric. That's the kind of stuff you'll play because you don't want all the strings to ring. You get too much distortion depending on how you have your amp set. You can set your amp at a high gain and low output and get real high distortion, or you can slow down, or you can bring down the gain and bring up the volume and get a normal, like a cleaner electric sound. And it all depends on what you're looking for. But in most cases, you don't want a full 6-string bar chord on an electric just because it's too much. So in combination with the chunk, I'm kind of doing a hand mute here, which is the flash of my hand against the strings, kind of lightly. Every move you make, getting my C sharp minor. Every vow you break, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every vow you break, every claim you stake, every night you stay, I'll be watching. I'm going to stop again